Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bantz Lawrencia. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing great. For today's episode, I want to ask the question, when is the right time to get married? I understand that this is different for different people. People get married for different reasons and at different time or points in their life when they think they are ready. The question is, when you got married, was that the right time for those of you who are married? And if you're single, do you think you're ready for marriage? Or what are those things that you think has to be in place before you get married? Now, a couple of days ago, I sat down with some friends and we talked about both married and single. We talked about when is it right, or when is the right time to get married, or when do you think it's time or is ripe for you to get married? Some of them who are married actually said that when they got married, they were not prepared for marriage. I mean, nobody prepares you for marriage. People just think, okay, I'm ready for marriage for whatever reason that is, and they get married. Now, this conversation started because of the whole thing going on online about 20 million cider Bosch, talking about before a man could approach her, the man needs to have certain amount of money or must have spent certain amount of money on her before she would even consider getting married to that person. And one of the things that we talked about is it just money that is the criteria, or the money in marriage is very important, don't get me wrong, but is that the only criteria? Because if that is the only criteria, then you could easily pick the wrong people for as a life partner. Now, one of them sitting down there, we knew her very well from when she was dating her husband until their current situation, and it's not been good. One of the reasons why she got married was she got married to a Yahoo guy. This guy had money at that time. He was spending lavishly on her. He didn't have a job per se. We're all in the UK. We all go to work, wake up in the morning. We all had employers. You wake up, you go to work, whether morning, evening, night, whatever shift you're working on, but we all had jobs. But this particular person, this guy that she was dating, we were all students at that point when she got with this guy. He was young, he was not old, was still within age range of where you will not raise an eyebrow, somebody marrying somebody. So it was not a problem. And she started dating this guy. He was not working. We asked her, what is the source of income? What does he do? And she just brushed that aside. She was like, oh, he's hustling and all those kind of things. And there was money at that point. So she chose him because she wanted to live the baby girl life. She wanted to, she didn't want to suffer, she puts it at that point. Got married. 10 years later, the whole thing is falling apart. She's got multiple kids. The guy at this point, the Yahoo thing is no longer paying as he used to. And the last thing he wants to do is to actually get a job. So he's just sitting down, collecting from one benefit to the other. Listen, it's just a mess. At this point, it has stunted their growth, just people growing from one point to the other. But because of that issue, he is feeling, I can't go back to school, or I can't get, why will I be cleaning? I was an odogu, that kind of mindset. So she got married because he had money. And right now, I can tell you she is suffering. She's burning the candles at both ends, and it's not been funny. Now, one of the other person got married because she was of age, just like, I knew that friend from work. So she was like, that when she got married, she felt she has settled in the UK. She had her papers, everything was working for her. So she went back to Nigeria because she wasn't getting any marriage proposal from the UK. So she went back to Nigeria, got married, and the sole purpose of her getting married was because she wanted to have a child. And then she got married, brought her husband here, she had a child. Now she's irritated with the husband because her primary aim or her primary objective has been satisfied, but every other thing is falling apart because she realized that they were not compatible. She realized that he's not financially responsible. She realized that it's a whole lot of things, and the two of these people are still in their marriages but trying to manage the whole thing. Now, on the other hand, I said, listen, I am going to, it's not about, first of all, finances is very important to get married. But there are so many other things that you need to look at. Like the other lady I was telling you about, she had everything together. She had her finances together. She could take care of herself. In fact, she went back to bring her husband. But did that sustain the marriage? It did not. Now, this other person that married because of finances, she wasn't ready, and then she got married because she felt her Yahoo husband was going to take care of everything, and that did not work, and that also is falling apart. And I was in the middle because I've always maintained that marriage is a business transaction. Like, if you're not going to go, before you go into any business, you have to look at the risk and the reward. Now, depending on your risk appetite, that would depend on who you're going to choose as a business partner. You're also going to look at the skill set of the person that you want to go into business with. Are they financially savvy? Can they hold their own? Like, you cannot go into business. Yes, there are certain skills that people bring into business that you, even at that point, is not going to be 50-50. There's going to be a percentage that is going to be outlined from the beginning. And even if that business does not work out at the end of the day, you already have your expectations. You're already managing your expectations. You already know what you're getting yourself into. So let's say you're going into business with somebody who has the skills and you have the financial backings to do that. If that person, you have to do your due diligence to ensure that yes, that person has that skill, but are they 100% into what you're doing? Because if that person has the skill, but that skill is divided into 5 different places, they're not going to bring that skill to you. So that skill set, okay, you looked at this person, but does their goal align with your goal? So there are so many things that people need to consider. I would say that marriage is a balance between logic and emotions, and that logic, you have to consider every risk, and that emotions, you have to also consider does your emotion align with that person? So it's always going to be a balance between logic and emotions. And somebody put this perfectly. This man was on Nedu's podcast. I can't remember his name right now. I'm going to put the name on the description box for you to know. Now watch this, what he said about marriage being balance between logic and emotions.
If we want to get to the marital table, you must be able to make your own money and feed your own self and an extra mouth before you show up at all. So you can't be showing up from a deficit point of view. Women are emotional, men are logical. That's not correct. Every human being has logic and emotion. The one you have utilized the most is the one that becomes pronounced. Dominant. Right? And so when people don't understand the basics of relationship, to say, I am going into marriage because I'm creating a new society, then you would think is all money. And that's why they get all money, they get them. It means, if you're even saying that 30 million, it means that a ritualist can actually get you. That's what it means. It means you have a price. Right? And so, before people get married, I always say that don't get married don't even ask anyone out without asking yourself out. Because that's where it starts from. So I ask, if you're going on a window shopping and you see yourself being displayed, will you buy yourself?
So anybody trying to get married out there, before you get married, sit down and ask yourself, why do I want to get married? Can I even marry myself? Let's say you are you are shopping for a husband or you're shopping for a wife. If you see yourself standing there, would you pick yourself? If you're not going to pick yourself, then you're not ready for marriage. Absolutely, you're not ready for marriage. Or, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. For some of you who are married, were you ready for marriage when you got married? Did it turn out well for you, or are you happy, or would you have waited more before getting married? And those of you who are not married, what is the right time for you? Or when do you think, okay, if I have this in place, or I have this certain thing in place, or I miss this kind of person, that is when I'm going to settle down. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Today's episode is once again sponsored by DBT's Wigs. We sell wholesale, retail, and if you want to partner with us, we're happy to do that. Please like, and share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.